and be their supports and make sure that they know that there are other people like them, that I can be the teacher that they go to because I can understand what they're going through, even if not completely totally because I grew up in a different environment. But I would love to come back and help my community.
Wonderful, Jadir. That's great. And I'm glad you brought this issue of, you didn't speak. And sometimes people forget that for students who are learning English, it takes 5 to 7 years. And even when you know English, you still go through different periods. One is called the silent period. And that's really what you experienced when you came here. And it wasn't that you were mute or you had a disability. It was more like you were making the transition from one language to the other one and you wanted to be able to communicate appropriately. And some kids go through a silent period. Everyone goes through a silent period as you're learning a new language, but some of them go through it a little bit longer than others. So that's an interesting kind of aspect that you brought today. And that's where teachers can be really key. So it's wonderful that you want to go back to your community. And I know that we've been keeping in touch with Lawrence and the superintendent and the principals there, and they're excited to kind of be interviewing you in a year. They're already planning on that. So that's great that the choice of career that you had is an area that you're going. Whereas Catherine's staying in psychology, but now looking at it from a different lens and maybe going into public health or other kind of more widely spread topics. And you'll find that even through your career, something that happened to me is I was like Jadir, I was excited becoming a teacher, and then in the first year teaching I realized I love the kids, I love teaching, but I'm only going to do this for a few years and then I'm going to do something else. And that's kind of how I got into higher education and teaching college students. And now that I'm here, I realized this was always my calling, was working with college students. So I'm still a teacher, it's just a different route to getting that, kind of like how Catherine is getting through the route of psychology through helping community rather than doing individual therapy. So those are really great examples of how students move through your trajectory in college and prepare for career. What about you, Laidalise? I mean, you have a little bit of a less experience because you just started, but yeah, now you're in your second semester, so you can start thinking about, how is it going this year in terms of selecting your major? A lot of students change their major, and that's okay. That's part of the exploration that we do. But tell us how you're doing in thinking about becoming a secondary teacher and the other passions that you have.
I'm doing great, to be honest. I've always had in mind, I guess, to do different activities while I was still in high school to like kind of basically be ahead. So when I was in college, I could be able to kind of just like pick what I wanted and not like get set behind or anything. Even though like while I was in high school, like I took classes in like the healthcare field. I actually did like a dual enrollment in Benjamin Franklin Institute of Technology. So like I did automotive and I did like I did different things so I can kind of like find out what I wanted to do. Even though like in the back of my mind I knew I wanted to do like some sort of teaching. I specifically wanted to do it in music, like I was saying earlier. I can do that in the future. Like I can just like keep practicing or whatever and become an instructor separately. But I kind of wanted to be more of like Jadira was saying, like have more importance in some way. So kind of like be that teacher that I wanted when I was in school, and that teacher like that a lot of students need. So being able, like starting at LaSalle, I've been able to kind of see myself in that more. So like at first I was just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know. But like the advisor has been able to help me, and just kind of like I was saying, like going through the classes and everything, I can see myself more as like that teacher that I guess like I had in mind. A lot of like the issue was too for me was because when I was doing dual enrollment, like they didn't get straight to the point of the classes. They were just kind of like barking around the tree, and they weren't really like giving me the experience that I guess I wanted. And so at LaSalle, like once you kind of declare the major you want, you hop right to it. You go to the classes that are gonna help you like graduate with that degree you want. That's definitely been very helpful. And I started off with like curriculum and instruction. So that kind of let me way around a little bit. I did take some psychology, and that also I was just like, wow, I loved my psychology class last semester. So I'm also I kind of wanted to do like a minor in psychology, but I'm still thinking about it. But being at LaSalle definitely has helped clear my mind and like things I've wanted to do.
And like that, Liz, and like you, I loved psychology. My majors in college were elementary education and psychology, and I actually thought I wanted to go into mental health counseling, Catherine. So that's really interesting. Until I took my first master's class, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, this is not for me, and I like the classroom a lot more. So that is interesting that at least that you're finding other passions within the areas that are related to education. And the great option of that is that you could always get a minor in child studies or a minor in just in general psychology. So there's a lot of ways to get concentrations when you're at college in the different majors that allow you to kind of take electives that you really love and that you want to learn about. So that's really wonderful. I think I want to thank the mentor leaders today for their ability to share what their trajectory has been. I wanted to know if they had a lasting comment to share today, or just one piece of advice that maybe we could give to our high school mentees that could help them to think about, a major or coming to college.
I guess a piece of advice would be, it's okay if you don't know what you want to do when you first come to college. You should just like explore your interests. That's what college is there for, because you can always change your mind about your major. It's not like a 4-year process. Most people don't finish in 4 years. They could pick it up, leave after a year, come back 10 years later and finish their degree. It's not a race to the end. Everybody's journey is different. Just explore what you're interested in, and if you want the degree, you'll get the degree. You just gotta put the work in.
Beautiful, Jadira. Any other advice?
Jadira
Go ahead, Catherine.
Jadira said exactly what I was gonna say, that it is completely okay to not know what to do. And if you have an idea of what you are passionate about, explore it. You might find out that you actually don't like it.
That's right. And that is okay. It's not like Jadira said, it's not about finishing the 4 years, something you don't like, but it's not a race to the end, but a race to your passion kind of thing. I'm adding that passion word there. I think that's what you meant. And I like that quote. I'm going to start using that quote, Jadira, in our work. Like Elise, did you have any advice, since you're a little bit closer to the high school students, on anything related to majors or just transitioning to college?
Don't be afraid. Like a lot. Like that Jadira and Catherine said, like you have time, but also like don't be afraid to come into college and just like not know anything, because there's a lot, like even in my classes, that we didn't go through in high school. Like a lot of things I've learned because it wasn't taught in my high school. So at a time I felt like, oh my god, like I felt like my school didn't do its job, in preparing me for school. But like it's very different than high school in a way. So it's like you kind of have to pick up your own flow. So like don't be afraid to make mistakes. Just like go with it and just pick up your own flow, because it's like in high school you're taught like kind of to depend on the teachers and stuff like that, and in school it's a little more individual. So it's just about like your pace, your flow. So just don't be afraid to like be making mistakes, but also just kind of like try to figure it out for you, because like it's you that's gonna do like you're the one going to classes, you're the one that's gonna get your degree, no one else is. So kind of like also going at your own pace, like the girls were saying.
Wonderful. Such great quotes that you all gave me today. Catherine, I didn't get yours really quite fast enough, but I want to thank all three of you for taking the time today to join us and for giving such great advice. We may not have a mentor on right now, but I know that they will be hearing and learning from you, and what you're sharing is really allowing somebody else that went through what we went as we were applying to college and felt alone or felt that we didn't know enough information to feel yet a little bit more comfortable. So thank you, and I hope that you all have a great day, and let us know if you want to talk more to any of us. We'll be happy to connect you with the mentor or with myself. Thank you.